In my memories, I hold you, my Mozart, my one true love. Nuremberg, Austria, 1829. The floorboards of the house creaked with the patter of our footsteps as Mr. Novello and his wife walked into the parlor room of the house I had shared with my second husband, George von Nissen. While I was running a boarding house to make ends meet in 1797, I had met George, a Danish diplomat, as he was looking for lodgings while serving a post in Vienna, and I suppose, when he waltzed through the door, needing a place to stay, he brought me something I had lost in 1791. The hopes of a future, companionship. And with that, he gave me the beauty of stability for 10 years. He also became a father to my young sons, the carer of the family, and the rest is just history, as they say. For here we were, married with a stable home of our own from some time, till he passed away in March of 1826. Tea, Novello? And for you as well, Mary?
Certainly I shall have some, thank you.
None for me. Thank you, Madame Nissen.
He was a stable man, George Nicolau von Nissen, and a good one at that, while he had lived. He adored my sons, treated them as any father should have, with affection and care. At this point in time, both of the boys are successful and strapping young men, and given how hard I worked to get them a proper education, I couldn't be proud of Karl and Wolfgang's achievements. I can hear them prattling on upstairs and playing their father's pianoforte as I pour tea for myself and Mr. Novello, though I had asked the boys to be a little more quiet with company present. I suppose the need for noise-making is in their blood. Karl and Wolfgang, though neither of my sons were George's by his own blood, he had treated them as if they were, and he'd been a suitable father in hindsight. In all truthfulness, however, I doubt anyone would believe my boys were George's at all, as they both looked too much like the late father, my first husband, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. My Mozart. How proud I know he'd be of our sons and their accomplishments, and I know he would encourage their natural gifts if he was still here. To the contrary of rumor and speculation, my Wolfgang loved his sons, even though he only had a short time with them. Out of the two boys, my little Karl had the most memories with his papa, and he often would reminisce about his father with me in his letters when he needed comfort during anniversary's date, December 5th, the day of his father's sudden passing.
Thank you. Now then, I suppose, if I may be so forward, Madame Nissen, could we speak on your former husband, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart?
I picked up my own cup of tea and sipped it gingerly, holding it with both hands. I felt my left quaking with anxiety. I suppose the subject of Wolfgang is still delicate and troubling. I miss him, dearly and often, even after all these years.
I know it's a delicate subject, but my wife and I have been tracing his life, and we plan to visit Vienna once we've established some of the story here of his childhood home.
To be truthful, it's been 38 years since Wolfgan's passing. The anniversary has come and gone again past December. and the grief still feels fresh in my chest, as if it had happened yesterday. I can still remember how it all occurred. One moment he was there, happiest as he had ever been, clearer in mind than he had been in the days that followed the most terrible illness he'd ever faced, and then the next, he was gone. I recall vividly how strong he was, and how strong we both were in facing our respective illnesses at the time. That fateful year, in 1791, he relied on myself and my sister Sophia in his last days, and I relied on Aloysia to keep little Carl safe out of the way. Although I know he would sneak in the room, against my wishes, and sit with his father. He told me as much. Yes, it is the very subject of my dear beloved Wolfgang, whose very heart has filled the air with the melodies of love that he left lingering on my heart, and with the sound of his pianoforte in the air, I feel as Wolfgan's bright light never left my heart. It is the very subject of his life that brings me to the present moment, seated across from two beautiful souls who eagerly and kindly seek to learn from me about the man I loved, my Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. I confess, when I woke up today, I didn't quite expect to be greeted by the Novellos, knocking on my door and having the man, Herr Novello, a kindly gentleman with spectacles and a beard, saying to me,
"Oh, pardon us. My name is Vincent Novello, and this is my wife, Mary. I'm terribly sorry to bother, madam, but I'm looking for Constanze Mozart. Would you happen to know where I might find her?"
"Indeed, you have found her, Herr Novello. I am Constanze. But may I ask why you sought me?" I had inquired. My curiosity was piqued.
I hope you will forgive me for being quite, forward, Madam Nissen, but was seeking an interview with you about the life of your husband, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, to get a clearer picture of what he was truly like while he lived.
Suffice to say, I was surprised when he told me just now that he was seeking to understand the short life of my former husband. 38 years since he's gone, and yet in that time I fought to keep Wolfgan's name alive. I have his music, and in my youth I'd given memorial concerts in his memory. I have his portraits, his drawings, his writings, every tool he used. I have the articles of clothing he wore, the wigs he used to don, and all the things that belonged to him, which we had in our flat in Vienna. Many of his letters from those days are sadly lost to me, for I couldn't find them when I left the home we shared in Vienna. Saving, of course, but a few love notes he wrote me, which I tenderly have preserved in my diaries. Everything he was is gone and buried, except for what remains in my possession. You're right, Herr Novello. The subject of my late husband is a delicate matter. He was my first love, my one true love. Though I adored Wolfgang as much as I loved my second husband, George, I dearly loved him, and he'd been a worthy husband before Providence called him away from me as well.
It must have taken such a magnitude of strength to endure such losses, Madame Nissen.
I feel my voice is lost to me for a mere moment. Although I hear her words, and they are kind in nature, I can feel the weight of Madame Novello's empathy, and I do receive it with much gratitude. For all I have endured, I suppose I had to claw and fight through it all. Yet for the first time in my 67 years of life. After all those years, all the gossip, the rumours, the lies, and the falsehoods spread from tale-bearers that plagued our courtship, and even the difficulties that led up to getting married to Wolfgang. Perhaps now, perhaps this moment, to tell of our love story, to speak of him to two individuals who genuinely are enthusiastic about my Mozart, I can finally have peace. However, our story, the story of my Mozart and I, was a different matter entirely, and it wasn't one without its trials. I replied at last, finding my voice.
We're all ears, Madame Lucerne. Please, go on.
A smile crossed my lips. In a child's fairy tale, we often start with a prince and a princess. I softly laugh, but in reality, ours was a whirlwind of unexpected circumstances. I glanced down momentarily at the engraved portrait of my Mozart in the palm of my hand. His feathers are delicate, his eyes so soft, blue as the ocean. He looks so perfectly handsome as the day he first came to stay with my family, back in the May of 1781. 48 years ago. Lord. It seems impossible to believe that so long ago, this gentle and kind angel came to me, and of all the things I had endured up to that point, I never imagined I'd be granted a love quite as beautiful as his was for me. He was, and shall remain, my Wolfgang, my dearest dove. What a character he was! I miss him often, and cherish the days I spent loving him. And I'll always remember, though short-lived as it was, he was mine. And no matter what anyone tells you, I loved him, and he loved me. My dearest Mozart, my Mozart. Do you recall your rose amidst the thorns of the world we called home? Before the twilight of life, there is calm. My one true love, though you've gone above, in heaven's embrace so far away from me. Do you remember how it all began?
Hello, I'm Faith Jacobs, director and author of Faithfully Yours Mozart, and head creative of Coffee&Comics Productions. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. You may be familiar with his name. He was, after all, responsible for over 300 compositions over the span of his 35 years of life. But let's turn back the pages to a different time in Mozart's life, and one that is often overlooked entirely. In March of 1781, Wolfgang seized the opportunity to escape the tedious life that he had known in his hometown of Salzburg, Austria. Having experienced a tumultuous period of life 5 years earlier after his mother, Maria Anna Mozart, tragically died during his advent in Paris, Wolfgang experienced a profound and humbling time of grief, sadness, and much parental strife with his father, whom blamed his son for the neglect and eventual death of his wife on July 3rd in Paris, France. Ultimately, following this event, Wolfgang remained in Salzburg with his sister and father for a time, and from his sister's diary we can conclude it was a monotonous existence. 5 years later, now 25 years of age and longing to compose an opera and find his fortunes elsewhere, young Wolfgang turned his eyes to his family's employer, the Prince Archbishop of Salzburg, Colorado. While the two would never see eye to eye while Wolfgang was alive, young Mozart seized the chance to rent a postchaise and travel alone to Vienna to join Colorado, arriving there March 16, 1781, dog-tired but ready to take chances and make his mark on the world. Yet it was not all nobles, operas, musical rivals, and drama with peers or clients alike that filled Mozart's first few months in Vienna. Like all young men in the Georgian Revolutionary War era period, Wolfgang was no stranger to the tides of love, nor its heartbreak, having been entangled with the soprano Sophia Weber in his youth. Yet, while there was strife in Vienna, he was also met with a rather unexpected light in the midst of trial and tribulation, who the heart of a woman often overshadowed and left behind in the story of his life. And it is that very love which brings me to welcome you to sit back and enjoy Faithfully Yours Mozart's The Courtship. Dive into a different world, a different time and place, in history through the eyes of unexpected love.
I get all excited like a child when I think about being with you again. If people could see into my heart, I would almost feel ashamed. Everything is cold to me. Ice cold. If you were here with me, maybe I would find the courtesy people are showing me more enjoyable. But as it is also empty. Adieu, my dear. Shall we meet again? I send you 1,000,000 of kisses. I am forever your Mozart, who loves you with his entire soul.
Coffee&Comics presents Faithfully Yours Mozart, The Courtship, written and directed by Faith Jacobs. Chapter 1. Pompous Bastards and Viperous Tongues.
May 9th, 1781. I am still filled with the gall of bitterness, and I feel sure that you, my good kind father, will sympathize with me. My patience has been so long tried it has last given away. I no longer have the misfortune to be in the Salzburg service, and today is a happy day for me. 3 times already has this, well, I know not what to call him. However, he has said the most insulting and impertinent things to my face, which I dare not repeat to you, on the wish to spare your feelings, and I only refrain from taking my revenge on the spot, because I always had you, my dear father, before my eyes. He called me a knave, and a dissolute fellow, and told me to take myself off, and I endured it all, though I feel that not only my honour but yours was aggravated by this. But, as you would have had it so, I was silent. Now, hear what passed. 8 days ago, the messenger came to me quite unexpectedly and said, I must instantly leave my lodgings. Apparently, due notice had been given to the others, but not to me. Therefore, I packed up my things hurriedly, and old Madam Weber was so kind as to take me into her house, where I have a pretty room, and am with obliging people, ready to supply me at once with all that I require. Things that are not so easy to procure when one is quite alone, mind you. I fixed my journey for Wednesday the 9th, this very day, with the post-carriage, not being able, however, in the interim to collect the money I have yet to receive. I postponed my journey till Saturday, and when I went to the archbishop, the valet told me that the prince meant to give me a packet to take charge of.
Blasted scoundrel. Scoundrel, archbishop, scoundrel. Archbishop. Oh, archbishop. Blasted. Fellow. Scoundrel. 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 Archbishop. Bishop. 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 Ah. Scoundrel. Must keep to yourself, Mozart. Must keep to yourself, must keep, must I, must I must keep to myself.
Ah, Wolfgang, you're just the man I wish to see.
Really? Whatever for, sir, if I might be so inclined to inquire?
A few errands, as usual. The archbishop has a packet here on which you are to take charge of and deliver at once to this address.
Goodness! These are rather pressing tasks at the moment. Can they not wait? I do have other matters I wish to discuss with the archbishop.
Can they wait? Ah, indeed not. What you hold in your hands is of the utmost importance. It needs to be delivered at once to the addressee, or the archbishop will box your ears in. Mark my words.
Pish posh. Colorado can do whatever he fancies. Besides, what I have to say to him is of equally in great importance as to the burden in my arms. So please, can you not find another soul to carry this heaping load where it's meant to go?
You were asked by name specifically, Herr Mozart. It is your responsibility to carry.
It shan't be after today, because I regret to be truthful, that I can no longer assist the archbishop with his tasks.
Whatever do you mean by that?
If you had but let me explain myself, sir. I came here not to be worked like a dancing monkey, but to speak to the archbishop. I'm resigning from my position of servitude, as I was so informed this morning that I've been asked to leave the lodgings. I regret that I cannot have the honour of being of use to His Highness on this occasion.
But why? I don't understand what's happened, sir.
I suppose I didn't satisfy the man, and my work is not satisfactory, owing to particular reasons which His Highness mentioned in his letter this morning. It's a feat of which I shall abide by, but I wish to have one final discussion with Colorado before I was off.
Well, as you can see, he's not here, but you are welcome to come back a while later and speak to the archbishop then.
Indeed I shall.
Wolfer, you look exasperated, lad. What happened?
It's the archbishop. He treated me with such vulgarity that I can hardly think clearly, and for what due cause does he dismiss me? I've done nothing to enact such an offence towards him.
I suppose you haven't, but he's a damn asswipe and a pompous swine. Always has been, always will be.
What's all this then? Are we having a laugh at, Klein? Bro, get on with that pot of soup, would you? Can't have it boiling over now, can we? Genuinely, Klein, the hell is up with the bloody hold up here? Unless 'tis rather significant or something to do with the plum pudding, we best get a move on.
Nay, Wolfgang here is having a touch of crisis. You see, he's been dismissed from his post by the archbishop this morning, and it's a right shame at that.
Lord, really? But I quite like having them around. What am I to do without my honorary biscuit taster?
I cannot fathom what he meant by offensive behaviour in his letter to me, then. Well, did I not give Constance good enough for his ears? Have I not run myself ragged to deliver his parcels to the cardinals and significant patrons of the church? I mean, what more does he require of me?
I cannot say what his reasoning is, Wolfer. I hardly interact with the archbishop, unless it's to bring the man his meals. But you don't seem like a person who would cause much trouble, sir. Not with us, at least. You're quite helpful in the kitchens.
I suppose there's nothing to be done. But let the record show that I didn't do anything to the man, I swear. Every turn since plucking me from my father's side, he's sought my very undoing. I know he has. And I won't be made to leave until I've had retribution.
Then fight this. But keep your wits about you, lad. Don't let his ego get to you.
I don't intend to. That, I assure you. Whew. This will show that bastard.
Mozart, please! Herr Mozart! Herr Mozart! I implore you! Wait a moment, sir! Mozart, please! Hold on for but a moment!
I'm afraid I have no time for petty gab at the moment, Shaluka. Make it quick if you must.
I was hoping I'd see you, sir. For I've heard of your predicament with the Archbishop, and I'm sorry to see you've been dismissed.
It seems particularly everyone knew I had been dismissed except me. For only I found out about it this morning.
Indeed, we were all informed. And it's a shame you've got to go. I quite enjoyed your jests, Herr Mozart.
At least someone does. The Archbishop is denser than the stuffed goose at Christmas time when it comes to understanding ninny wits.
I suppose he is. And I'm guessing that's your destination, isn't it? You plan to speak to the Archbishop?
I am, though I don't think I'll be sticking around here long after today. However, there is a slight obstacle. I do not yet have the funds to leave, and he aims to make me without lodgings.
Well, if you speak to Colloredo, allow me to offer you this. You must give him proper reason for your delayed departure. A lack of money isn't his problem. And otherwise, if you don't give him due cause for a delay, I fear he may not speak to you at all.
That's wise and quite clever. A Jew, I suppose, sir. Into the lion's den I go.
Mozart, such a surprise to see you here. I had thought you'd have been off by now. Or weren't you informed that you're to clear your belongings and find lodgings outside the order?
I beg your pardon for the intrusion, sir. Indeed, I intended to have gone tonight, but
Every place in the post carriage is already engaged.
Huh. There's nothing I can do for that. And you no longer work for me. Or don't you recall the offense you caused? Thus, you cannot stay here any longer. You've outlived your welcome with such callous disregard for my authority.
Yes, sir. Please accept my letter of resignation.
I suppose I shall. However, as you cannot stay here, where are you going now, young fellow?
I couldn't say, sir. Perhaps, however, your grace would assist me with a word or two. I know our relationship has dwindled due to my cause of offence towards you, but surely you could provide a letter for future employment, sir?
You're the most absolute, licentious, dissoluted, and dissipated young man I've encountered.
I beg your pardon, what, sir?
You ask for a letter! A letter! For a wretched and spoiled scamp such as you! You're a damned scoundrel, asking of such a selfish request. As God is my witness, young man, I shan't give you an ounce of sympathy, nor a word. No word could do justice for the vulgar, roguish, and incompetent attitude which you've displayed towards myself and my brethren. Take yourself off, I say.
Grace, I don't understand. I merely have requested that you offer a recommendation for future employment. What have I done that could warrant you to deny something quite simple?
Truly, you must be deficient in mental intelligence if you deny what you did. Your incompetence, arrogance, and lack of respect for my authority has reached its peak. You ask for compensation when it is you who should pay for the damages you've caused.
I suppose no man has served him so badly as I have, and he's recommended me to set off the same day, or else he's going to write home to stop my salary. Oh, Providence, spare me. You can do anything, surely anything but that.
I insist that you leave today, and no later. Otherwise, I'll cut off every right to your current finances.
I beg of you, don't. What I have asked is for one word, just one. I need your recommendation in order to...
I've had enough of your vulgar and snivelling tongue. It's unbecoming. Leave this place and my sight before you force my hand, damned ragamuffin.
His words blaze away like fire. Though I'm certain I'm hearing it all with calmness in my heart. Despite the irritation of betraying you all before me, he's actually telling me to face my deliberate falsehood. That I was given a salary of 500 florins under his charge, and still, the gravitas of gumption, the appalling audacity to call me a ragamuffin, a scamp, a rogue. Mercy. I can feel at last my blood beginning to boil. Your grace does not appear to be satisfied with me. But hear me well, sir, for you'll regret this endeavour. On the honour of myself and of my father. Rest assured, you shall rule the day you let go of me.
Is that a threat? You dare to threaten me, you bloody rascal? Well then, there's the door. I ask of you to use it, and I tell you I will have nothing more to do with a scoundrel such as thee.
Or I with you, pompous snake.
Begone, before I call the guards to toss you out.
Let it be known that our accord is settled, sir, and you shall have it tomorrow in writing.
Begone!
Adieu, your holiness.
Put it to you, my dear father, if I was not rather too late in saying this than too soon, my honour is more precious to me than all else, and I know it is the same to you. But under no anxiety on my account am I so sure of success here, that for much lesser cause I would have given up my situation. I have, besides, 3 different times had good reason to do so, till such treatment seemed to be quite a matter of course. I was twice called a cowardly fellow, so I was resolved to not deserve the name a 3rd time. But so long as the Archbishop remains here, I will not give a concert. Your fear that this will bring me into bad misgivings with the Emperor and the nobility is quite unfounded. The Archbishop is hated here, and most of all by the Emperor. In fact, not having been invited to Luxembourg is the very cause of his rage. By next post, I mean to send you a little money, to show that I am in no difficulty here. Moreover, I beg you to be cheerful, for my good fortune is now about to begin, and I hope my good fortune will always be yours also. Write to me by some private hand that you are satisfied. In truth, you may well be so, but publicly abuse me as much as you like, that none of the blame may fall on you. If, in spite of this, the Archbishop should be guilty of the slightest impertinence towards you, then I beg you and my sister will come straight to me at Vienna, for I give you my word of honour that we can all 3 live here perfectly well. Still, I should be glad if you could endure it for a year. Do not write to me again at Dutcher Orden's house, nor exclose my letters in their parcel. I want nothing more to do with Salzburg. I hate the Archbishop to madness. Write to me at Peter's 11 zum Auge Gottes on the 2nd floor. Let me soon have your approval, for that alone is waiting to my present happiness. Faithfully, your loving son, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Yes? Do come in. Ah, Sophia, hello there. How can I be of assistance to you?
Hello there. I hope you'll pardon the interruption, Herr Mozart, but Mother wishes to let you know that supper will soon be served.
I'm grateful, of course. I shall join you all shortly.
Very good. I'll see you downstairs shortly, sir.
Well, I suppose I shan't delay heading down for dinner. After all, oh, Madam Weber doesn't approve of such tardiness.
Faithfully Yours, Mozart. Written and directed by Faith Jacobs. Featuring the voice talents of Aaron Ralph as Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, Mark Stihel as the Archbishop, Nero as the Valet, Ross K. Fode as the Valet. Featuring music by Greg Quendel. Adapted from the life and letters of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Thank you for listening. And until next time, may love thrive in unexpected circumstances.
Oh, shall I tell you, Mama, what is causing my torment? Papa wants me to reason like a big, big person, but I say that candies are worth more than reason. Oh, Mama, shall I tell you what is causing my torment? I ought to remember to play around with our voo on the piano.
Would you care for some wine, Herr Mozart?
Indeed. Thank you. Thank you.
Josephina! Mustn't we forget to say thanks for the Lord for this meal? Come now.
Is the meal of veal and potatoes to your liking, Herr Mozart?
It's quite lovely, yes.
Josephina is a lovely cook, isn't she? It was a turn tonight to make the evening meal.
My compliments, then. Your skills are wonderful, Miss Josephina.
Thank you. It's the hope to have good enough skills in a variety of areas to make a decent housewife for my match, I suppose.
Ah, yes. Has anyone caught your eye?
A few. I have a masquerade I'll be attending this weekend that surely shall have many a handsome beau to catch the eye of.
I think Joe is lucky. I can't seem to catch the eye of anyone. Perhaps I'm ugly.
Oh, certainly not. You're a dear little Sophie. And you should yet be glad you aren't out like your sisters. It can be exhausting. Or at least, that's what I'm told.
Yes, you certainly aren't ugly, Sophia. It's just not your time to be managed. And take comfort in that. However, if I'm honest, I unfortunately have had little success myself.
Oh, Stanzel, I don't see how. You're beautiful in spirit, you're kind and talented. Herr Mozart, you should hear Stanzi play the piano. She plays so beautifully, and her voice is truly as sweet as honey.
You're quite handsome, Miss Constanze. I'm sure you'll find a good man who values your gifts.
Thank you. Although, what of your own matchmaking pursuits, Herr Mozart? Have you found a prima donna that tickles your fancy?
Oh, no. I suppose I've been preoccupied with other matters. Marriage and prospect for a future imaginary is far from my list of obligations at present. Not that I oppose, of course, but it's sadly not a luxury I can afford.
What's happened? You did seem a little distracted when I called you for dinner, sir.
I admit I was, little Sophie. Unfortunately, I'm dealing with a former employee of mine, the Archbishop of Salzburg. Even though I've left him, there's still a pile of horse apples to dig through before it's over. Pardon my vulgarity, Miss Weber, but I'm quite frustrated with the man still. He treated me with contempt and called me such appalling names, many of which I refuse to utter in your fine company. Oh, it makes my blood boil, if I'm truthful.
I'm ever sorry this has plagued you, sir. Perhaps after all is said and over with, he'll leave you alone?
I can only hope it's so, madam.
Let us retire to the parlour room for some dessert and a little coffee. Come, my darlings.
Coffee sounds lovely. Will you join us, Herr Mozart?
Coffee is lovely. Certainly. Come away, Miss Starling Weber. Shall we promenade to the parlour?
I? Oh, you're rather a ninny, sir. Promenade to the parlour, as if we're off to some grand affair.
Sophia, that's a little crass.
Nay, she's all right. But I'll tell you a secret, little Sophie. One must be quite the ninny to deal with the miserable misers of this world. And that's a precious secret. Only the best of people know. Which, by Providence mercy, must be you. By all accounts, I must say.
Do you really believe I'm one of the best, sir?
Entirely I do. But I don't see anyone else here who's quite so fine as you, little Sophie.
Constanze, is that coffee almost ready? And do be so kind to bring us that apple strudel of Sophia's.
Yes, Mama.
Holy God, we praise thy name. Lord of all, we bow before thee. All on earth thy scepter claim. All in heaven above adore thee. Infinite thy vast domain. Everlasting is thy reign. Hark the celestial hymn. Angel choirs above are raising. Fill the heavens with sweet accord. Holy, holy, holy Lord. Holy Father, Holy Son, Holy Spirit, we name thee. One in essence, only one, undivided God, we claim thee, and adoring enemy, while we sing our praise. Bring the roses. Ring the roses. A pocket full of posies. Ring, 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 ring.
Huh? Oh, forgive me. I did not mean to disturb your thoughts.
Indeed. Forgiveness is given, madam. You merely startled me, is all.
My apologies.
It's fine. No foul play was intended. I'm just quite easy to scare, I must say.
Does noise frighten you so?
Not always, though. I'm not fond of the trumpet, I say. It's the only sound in the world that could scare me.
The trumpet? Why ever that one?
Well, it's as dark a red as the wine we are drinking. It's like feeling red. It's rigid and coarse. And as a child, it frightened and pinned me deeply to the point of passing out. I can't explain why. I find its sound shrill and excruciating.
I'll be sure to remember this. About the trumpet, I mean.
I must say, this is lovely. Thank you.
Certainly. And would you care for some coffee as well?
A little indeed.
I think I should play a little piano, Mama.
Thank you.
It's a rather good likeness, don't you think, Herr Mozart?
Huh? What? Oh, Madam Weber. Forgive me. I was pondering silly little things, to be truthful.
I asked if you thought the portrait a good likeness of my father. Do you think it captures him well?
Indeed, it seems to capture his vigour and rousing good humour quite finely. Though, I'll be honest, I'm not, my understanding of the arts of painting is limited. I do draw, of course, but mainly with charcoal, or...
You draw? Goodness, I'd love to see these. Our Wolfgang, a secret artist.
You tease me. I'm not as good as an artist as I am a composer. I hardly have time to draw. But when I can, I do love it so. Birds make for beautiful subjects, you know. Especially starlings. They're so pretty. I find animals are far more patient than people.
It sounds so beautiful. Sadly, that's not where my talent lies. I'm often so busy with chores, I hardly have time to draw. But Sophia paints a little. She uses many mediums whenever she's not busy baking or singing or tending to her chores.
Truly. Perhaps she can teach me a thing or two.
I believe she would too. She's grown very fond of you in the week since you came back to us.
I remember her well. She was quite scrawny and had wild hair. Now she's quite grown up. Yet Sophia seemed so small when we were last together 5 years ago. You all were. I'm still a child myself.
I know she adored you even then, and you're like an older brother to her. She told me as such. You should have seen how much she cried when you left for Paris.
I wanted to stay, of course. But Mamma and Father both insisted that I would find my fortunes there. When what I found was more pain and... misery.
It seems we both came to pain and misery. Papa passed away 2 years after you'd gone, and Aloysia...
She married, as I recall.
She did?
Wasn't it?
Well, you must promise to show me your sketches. I'm entirely intrigued. Herr Mozart.
You wish it so. It shall be. I would like to offer, however late it may be, my sincere condolences for your grief, Miss Weber. I imagine you miss your father a great deal.
Yes. I do miss Papa. I miss his wisdom and the way he played the piano. Like you were before I entered the room.
Oh. I'm sorry if playing stirred such reminders of your youth, madam. I wasn't thinking about my actions.
No! It was good to hear. We need music in this house again, Herr Mozart. And you've brought it back.
Well, I'll gladly play it with you sometime. If you'd sing with me.
I would be honoured, sir.
I'm glad.
You know, if I'm honest, I recall Papa had much to say of you in the days after we parted so long ago from your company in Mannheim.
Oh, well, I did, of course, have an inkling of an interest in your sister Aloysia. I imagine that didn't please him. The way things ended, I mean.
Not so. I believe you were far more a pleasure to Papa than Lang ever was or would have been had Papa lived long enough to see them as they are now.
Herr Lange, truly,
The life of an actor sounds terribly elitist to me. It sounds suffocating and selfish. Having people parade about you as if you're something special. Not that I would know any difference to him, I suppose.
Truly? Do you feel life as a musician is one of suffocation?
Nay, 'tis quite the contrary. My music is my life, and without it, what am I?
I'm not entirely sure.
Well, I'm naught but a mere street performer, a monkey with whom the bigger men puppeteer, a pauper without hope for artistic expression in front of the masses, because my work, unlike the life of an actor's, is more than simple stage makeup and fancy movements. To express the sympathies in my mind, to explain the things in my head even now and in this moment, would be an impossible task. I'm always composing, always thinking and creating, and I would argue that my creativity is merely my soul firing off its truth. When I compose, Miss Weber, it's like opening a window into the very heart of my existence, and I wish, oh Lord on high, I wish.
What do you wish, Herr Mozart?
You may laugh at me, madam, if I tell you what my heart's desire.
Never. Even I have desires which have yet to be fulfilled.
I would like to have everything that is good, genuine, and beautiful in my life. And I want to share all that I am. That is my wish. The most secret of hopes.
Oh, therefore your wish is that you want applause and praise, Maestro?
Certainly not. I follow no one's praise or applause. I merely follow my own intention. Truthfully, if I had wished for praise, I'd be an artist, or perhaps a poet, but you see, I cannot write poetically, for I am no poet. I cannot make fine artistic phrases that cast light and shadow, for I am no painter. And as I am no actor, I cannot neither by signs nor by pantomime express my thoughts and feelings. And neither am I a dancer. Yet I can, by musical tones, express myself, for I am a musician. My life is music, and my music is my life. The beautiful, the genuine, and the pleasing, all that is good. Surely it lies somewhere between the silence of the notes in my mind, doesn't it? If that's rather not ridiculous to say. Is it?
'Tis not. And I feel quite the opposite in my thinking. It sounds to me a wonderful and amiable desire.
Sincere? You feel the same as I?
Undoubtedly. I think of the ugliness that is often sought and wonder why such things are chased after whence they are merely dirtied rags and rotting riches.
Really? You fascinate me, Madam Weber. My curiosity is piqued from early. Tell me, on the subject of your sister and now your brother-in-law, do the two of them, Aloysia and Lange, at least share their wealth?
Hardly. Once Aloysia was off gallivanting with him and Papa's sudden passing 2 years ago. We barely make ends meet these days. She's a true talent, my sister. And that talent could bring the ducats pouring in, but that isn't the case, I'm afraid.
An unfortunate affair, it sounds like.
Indeed. Unlike Aloysia, Sophia, myself, and Josephina are lucky we haven't frightened all whom hear our voices away. I believe we pale in comparison to hers, you know. Aloysia sang like a well-trained canary, while the three of us squawk as geese upon a river.
Oh, you're a delight, Miss Weber. Squawking geese. Silly indeed.
Goodness.
Oh,
I do suppose that's quite a ridiculous picture, isn't it?
a little, I'll admit. But while it is true, your elder sister is a talented soul, and perhaps, as you say, a canary. Yourself, Sophie, and Josephina hardly deserve such petty dismissal.
I'm humbled you think so fondly of our gifts, Sir Mozart.
Of course. I've heard you sing and play beautifully since our earliest of meetings back in Mannheim. And I mean every word. I believe it to be unwise to think that one stands above the others, Madam Weber.
It's a perplexing notion to be praised. Mother tells me often that I can hardly do enough for her, and that my musical inclination will never be close to that of Aloysius. My mother. She spoils my other sisters, Sophia and Josephina, and rails against me. Yet here stands a man who had been enthralled by my elder sister much like the whole world has been, and his candor is astounding, even more surprising, given the things circling around her, Mozart, and all that have been said. He's quite baffled me in the present moment. Indeed, quite to the contrary of belief and speculation. And Mozart is a kind soul, and I see it in his eyes as he looks at me, though I think I can scarcely imagine it to be true, that he thinks and sees something of value before him. The question of importance, however, is, does he think something of me? Is there belief, for once in my life, that I too can shine in that lonely sky like Aloysia had?
Oh, forgive me. It seems I've rather exhausted myself.
You do look rather worn.
Perhaps I had best retire to my chambers for the evening. Besides, there's much to tackle yet tomorrow. The situation of the archbishop is hardly over. I know it.
That seems unfortunate.
He's a prideful, sodding old fool of a peacock. I just hope the battle to detangle myself from that man is a swift one.
As do I, sir. On another matter, will you require anything else before you retire, however?
Not at all. Your company and kindness have been plenty. I bid you a good night, Miss Weber.
Indeed. Good night, Mozart. Heavens, that was a lot.
Where to, sir?
Take me to the address of Peter's 11, said Helga Gottes. Please. Lord, you drive like a horse's arse. Oh.
Whoa! Whoa, easy girl. Aye, right there, sir.
Aye, I'm as fit as a violin. Yes, you ninny bastard. It's cold. Oh, my head. It's cold. Pompous swine. Who the hell does the archbishop think he is? Calling me a ragamuffin. Bah! Where the hell am I? Oh, damn this city! Damn this city! Damn the archbishop! What the hell are there so many streets? I want to go home. Providence help me. I just want to sleep. Oh, thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you, God.
Lavenders blow dilly dilly, lavenders green. When you are king, dilly dilly, I shall be free.
Mozart!
I don't feel so good.
Heaven help me. What happened? Just soaked to the bone.
I don't feel so good. Constanze. 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 Miss Weber.
Heavens, you're burning up! Right. Come now. We need to get you into bed, Mozart.
Oh, you're a very pretty lady. Pretty squawking lady.
Why, thank you, I suppose. But we have to be easy now, and we have to go up these steps, see? 1, 2, up we go!
Oh, easy. Up, 1, 2, 3, we go. Up on the roof we go. Up, easy go. Up, easy go. Oh,
You'll be all right shortly. I promise. You're all right. I'll be right back. I have willow bark. That should help. If I brew willow bark into a tea, it should lower his fever.
Where am I? What? Where am I? What? What?
Mozart, be still. Don't excite yourself.
Madam Weber. It's you.
Yes, I'm here, and you're safe. But what happened to you after your concert, sir? When I found you a moment ago, you were soaked from head to toe.
The archbishop was at the concert. He made a fool of me in front of the other possible patrons and employers. At every turn he was undermining me. If he hadn't won by dismissing me from his employment. He humiliated me further. Now I'll never... The man belittled and lambasted me to the extent that I felt sick during the whole night. It was so bad that I could hardly make it through the first act of the opera I was to perform. So I left. I stumbled through the streets like some drunken fool. I'm deeply sorry to have frightened you so, Madam Weber. You must think poorly of me. The state I'm in.
Certainly not. It would be a cruel act to think such things, Mozart, as I sincerely believe you've been dealt a great deal of trouble with this archbishop. I've heard your ravings against him at dinner, and your recollection of today's events. I imagine it was all too much. It appears as such to me.
I beg of your discretion, Madam Weber, please. For the sake of my honour, you mustn't breathe a word of this predicament to your mother, nor your sisters.
I shan't. You have my word.
Good. In that regard, you should leave me to deal with this alone. After all, what would your family think if they saw you, a bright woman, caring for a wounded fool, whose pride begot a fit of illness?
They would think very little. Besides, they don't think much of me or what I do.
Oh, rubbish all what they do or don't think of you. I think you're kind, and I see how hard you work. Poppycock, I say, and old Madam Weber and her tongue at that.
And besides, as you're our guest, I cannot leave you alone while you're unwell. That would be most unkind.
Miss Weber, I insist that you don't.
And I insist that you do allow me to help you. You've been through much, and we regard you as a delight in this house. At least I do. Think of it as repaying what was broken with Aloysia all those years.
But you owe me nothing. Your family took me in and allowed me lodgings when I had no place to go. It's quite enough. Truly, it is.
I know, but sometimes I think about how my elder sister hurt you all those years ago, and I didn't appreciate such an unkind disregard for you. All that time writing those arias and giving her stage to sing upon, to treat you in such a careless manner. Why I feel... My apologies for my raised voice, Mozart. It was forward and unbecoming of me.
You are forgiven.
still, I do feel obligated to show you better hospitality than has been offered in the past. And I feel it quite strongly.
I'm baffled, I admit. However, I am grateful for your care, Miss Weber.
I'm humbled to assist. Now then, here, drink some more of this. I know the tea is terrible, but it should help. Easy now, not so fast. Easy.
Yes. Thank you.
Of course. This should help bring down that fever of yours.
Yes. Thank you. Heaven spare me. Perhaps it's the fever or my current state of mind, but I swear she looks like an angel in this dim light. She's absolutely beautiful. And her heart is kind. She's unexpected. Once again, completely unexpected. And she puzzles me.
I'm going to take care of you. I promise. Now then, I think, if I may, we should get you out of those soaking wet clothes. It'll do you no good to sleep in them.
I think I can manage that, madam.
Oh goodness me. My deepest apologies. I didn't mean to seem as if I was suggesting impropriety, sir. Or that you're less than capable of dressing yourself. I only meant an offer to assist you given you felt so well. I would hate for you to fall again.
No harm done. All is well. Besides, I could use a little help. Goodness. It feels like I'm being tossed about on a rocky carriage ride.
You can sit down if you feel unwell.
Indeed I shall. I may fall otherwise if I don't.
That would be no good. I'm ashamed I must ask you. Where do you keep your night clothes, sir?
Oh, the locker. At the foot of the bed. I keep most of what little I have in there.
I'll go so you can slip into your night clothes, sir, but if you do need me, please shout. I'm only down the hall, and I'll help you if need be.
Certainly. I'll be sure to do so, Miss Weber. She's quite a puzzle to me, Miss Constanze Weber. But she's a kind and charming puzzle, yes indeed. She makes me laugh, and I'm grateful she was here tonight. After all, who knows what would have happened if I had returned to an empty house? Of all the things I have to wonder, why is there something about her that seems to make my heart flutter? What a puzzle indeed.